Chris, in the interest of time, do you want to maybe get started and some more people will jump on board as we move along?
That sounds great. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Bentley, and together with Hirsch Perlis and the Legal Innovation Zone team, welcome to our demo lunch number 4, I believe it is. Hope you're all having a great year. Before I turn it over to Hirsch, I just wanted to say a few things. We are recording this. It will be available afterwards. Hirsch will explain the format. Just a word or two about the Legal Innovation Zone. Hirsch and I co-founded this about 7 years ago as what we now understand to be the world's first incubator dedicated to legal tech. We've always been guided by the mantra that we're helping others build better legal solutions for consumers, whether they're businesses, whether they're individuals, rich or not, better legal solutions for consumers. We do this in 3 ways. We support entrepreneurs as they come up with their idea, develop their idea, and then market their idea into a business. And we support them in person before the pandemic, and again, soon in person, I hope. We support them through various online programs. We work with the community through programs such as this. We've done programs nationally and internationally over the years. We work with organizations. Osler, the law firm, has been a big supporter of ours from the beginning, as we have of theirs. We've worked with the Canadian Bureau of International Education and governments, provincial government on a number of occasions, and now tribunals federally, among others. And we work to advance their innovation agenda, and we work to really modernize our legal system. And we've been focused very much on family law over the past number of years and have something called Family Law Portal, where people can obtain information about their legal rights through separation or divorce. And really, we're interested in hearing from you. We're interested in participating with you. You know, every time a member joins the community, it's a stronger community for all. Community is at the heart, really, of what we're building and doing here. And that's part of what today's program is all about. And Hirsch, I want to turn it over to you.
Thanks for that, Chris. It is, as Chris said, it is great to see some familiar faces and some new faces. And thanks for joining our 4th demo day lunch. And just a reminder for people who have been here before or new faces, our demo lunch is a time when we try and quickly show some great legal technology companies that are either working out of our space, but often internationally as well, and just try and show what the art of the possible is when it comes to legal tech. So we have 3 fantastic companies today. We have Epilogue, Loom Analytics, and Notary Pro, and we will get to them in just a minute. The way demo lunch works is we will have each company speak for about 7 minutes about what they're doing and give a demo about show how their product works. After that, we'll ask if anyone has questions. You can chat to me and ask a question. If there's enough time, we'll ask 1 or 2 questions after each company speaks. But then after that, after the final company goes, we will open up the breakout rooms. And if you have specific questions or want to get more detailed with any of the companies, you can place yourself into any of the rooms and jump around if that's what you'd like. They'll stick around till right around 1 or however long there are questions for. So we are very appreciative for everyone to spend their lunch with us, and we will get started. So the first company we have here is Epilogue. We have Daniel and Aaron who are going to speak to you today. They are a great Liz company and are focused on the online will space. So Daniel and Aaron, take it away.
Thank you, Hirsch, and thanks, Chris. So Aaron here is just going to share his screen. Perfect. Okay, wonderful. So we are Epilogue. Epilogue is a Toronto-based startup that is on a mission to help Canadians create their own wills and other estate planning documents online. So Aaron and I are the founders of the company. We're both former practicing tax and estate planning lawyers. So we were in this space drafting wills for individuals sort of across the spectrum, and noticed through that experience that people were really struggling with getting their estate planning done. There's a huge segment of the population that struggles to even start the process. And then even those that do start and that are engaged in the process, they have some difficulty getting through it and ending up with wills at the end of the day. So what we saw in practice, we saw reflected in some of the data that was out there, some of the studies that had been done about estate planning in Canada. And so what we have here are some of the barriers to estate planning. These are what people identified as reasons why they are not creating wills and other important estate planning documents. So the time and the cost, people thinking that they were too young, that they didn't have sufficient assets, people that just wish to avoid it altogether. And then in this other group, you've got people who weren't interested in speaking with lawyers and sort of thinking about death, telling people about their private information. And so with all of these barriers, now we can see sort of where we're at in Canada when it comes to how we're doing as a country with estate planning. And the short answer is not great. So over 50% of Canadians report having no will at all. An additional 15% have a will, but say that it's outdated. So this number tells us that about 2/3 of Canadian adults are in need of new estate planning documents. Only about 1/3 of people suggest that they're in a good spot. So this is problematic. Will really is the only way to deal with what happens after your death. It handles important things like, excuse me, naming an executor, to manage your affairs, naming guardians for minor children and pets, and then identifying what you would like to happen as far as the distribution of your assets go. So I'm going to turn it over to Aaron, who's going to give a quick demo on what we built.
Thanks, Daniel. One of the other things I'll mention before I dive into the demo is, like Chris mentioned off the top, like there's so many companies working with the Liz focused on consumer technology and the legal space. And one of the things I've always found interesting about what we do in particular is that, there are people that will go through their whole lives without touching the legal system, right? There's people that will never need a matrimonial lawyer. There are people that will never buy and sell a house or be involved in any civil litigation, but everybody's going to die. And so, creating a tool that helps people plan for end of life is something that's ubiquitous and something that, as the stats that Daniel was pointing out reflect, something that not enough people are doing. So it's important to have something that was accessible, that anybody could use, and try to make cost no longer a barrier. So I'll dive into the demo, and this is a video recording, but I'll sort of commentate as we go through. So somebody would come to our site, click Start My Will. They'd have a little bit of information on the process and then get into the will making itself. We start with some very basic questions. We ask where you live. We ask about the person's relationship status, whether or not they have kids. This is the first of a few threshold questions. So we ask whether there's a blended family situation. Some cases are too complex for an online will. That's what we believe as estate planning lawyers. We've teamed up with lawyers in every province to ensure that if somebody can't create their will with us, there's a way to do it. So there's a few threshold questions. We explain the type of will that Epilogue can build for them. Basically only deal in basic situations. So again, if somebody's situation is too complicated, they want to leave a kid out, for example, they'd have to go somewhere else. Once somebody creates an account, we confirm whether they just want a will or whether they also want to do incapacity planning, powers of attorney. We can help them with that too. For the demo, we'll just do a will. The next section, we take them through 5 sections, creating the will. The first is a basic section where we ask them things like name, date of birth, city where they live. Again, just really basic information about an individual so that we understand their circumstances and have certain information that we need to prepare the will. At the end of every section, there's a review page, so somebody can check their answers, make sure they've spelled everything right. Once they're done the basic section, somebody that has a spouse or kids goes through the family section where we ask them about their partner, and we get information about their kids. So we need to know the kids' ages, for example, because in a will, if you have minor kids, you can name a guardian for them. So we ask for the kids' names and birthdays, as well as information about the pets. And again, a review section. The third section, because this person identified as having minor kids and pets, we ask about guardians. So the person has the opportunity to name a guardian for their children, as well as an alternate guardian in case the first guardian can't act. And they have the option to name a guardian for their pets, as well as an alternate. I think here they just chose no thanks, and again, a review. The fourth section is the bulk of the will, deals with the distribution. So again, we set out what the basic distribution of a will looks like. In this case, everything to their spouse, or if their spouse isn't alive, to their kids. If they want, they can make charitable donations. So we have CRA's 86,000 registered charities in our database. So somebody can search for a charity that they want to find. It'll put their legal name as well as their charitable registration number right in the will. We ask questions about trusts for young kids. This is a question about sort of the family disaster scenario. What if something happens to everybody? And what should happen to your assets? And then they have the opportunity to include some personal articles. So if there's items they want to give to a friend or a specific child, they have the opportunity to do that, as well as a gift to the person who's going to take care of their pets if they want. Again, a review section. The last section on making a will is the executor section. Because this person has a spouse, they're prompted if they want their spouse to be their executor. They have the opportunity to name a co-executor and an alternate executor if they wish. And that's it for the will making process. So somebody's just gone through the entire process, created a will. We generate their documents. We ask them how they heard about Epilogue. We've got a collaboration with RBC now, and so somebody can tell us that. And once they're done the process and have paid for their documents, they have access to their documents. So they just download their documents. Every set of documents comes with a full set of signing instructions. So step by step, it explains to them exactly what they need to do to make the will and powers of attorney valid in the province where they live. Then there's a cover page, and the will itself has everything you'd expect to see in a will. So guardians provisions, provisions for the executor, payment of debts and taxes, pets, charitable gifts, specific gifts, all the stuff that we put in the questionnaire appears in the will itself. There's a general trust provision that goes into every will. We include an RESP provision, which is something a lot of lawyers don't do in their wills. And then there's a lot of general provisions, administrative provisions that you would typically see in a will, survivorship clauses and investment powers and things like that. And we also include an affidavit of execution with every will, so that even once the will is signed, they can take follow-up steps to make sure that the probate process is smooth as well. So that's it for our demo, and I think we're probably close to our time as well. If there's time for a question, Hirsch, we're happy to take, and if not, we're happy to address any questions in the breakout session.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Aaron and Daniel. There's one quick question, and we have time for a very quick question. So would each spouse do a separate will, or does one questionnaire create a will for both of them?
It's a great question. So a will is like a tax return. Everyone gets their own, even if you're married. There's no such thing as a joint will for two people. So somebody can come through and we'll ask them, does your partner also need a will? And if they say yes, we'll prompt for the partner's email address. And that person will actually go through and they'll pay for both wills. We do have couples pricing, but they'll pay for both. And then an email automatically gets sent to the other partner so that they can start their own process under their own account and create their own will.
Great, thanks for that. That was a fantastic presentation. Thank you. It's amazing how easy you can do something online and such an important topic. And we're going to be moving on, but I think we're going to have a contest to see who can have the greatest soundbite of the demo lunch. And right now I've got Aaron with the best soundbite of "Everyone is going to die." So good luck with anyone else trying to beat that soundbite. So and again, if you want to spend more time with Epilogue, they'll hang around afterwards. So next up we have Mona Dat. Mona is an alumni of the Legal Innovation Zone, a fantastic member for a very long time, and participated with Loom Analytics in our AI challenge a bunch of years ago that we put on with the Ontario government. So Mona, the floor is all yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hirsch. Can you hear me clearly? Perfect. So yeah, as Hirsch mentioned, we actually launched 6 years ago. We're a part of Liz for a while and eventually graduated from there. We started out as a company specifically in the litigation analytics space with a product called Court Analytics. When we went out into the market, we got a lot of feedback about the fact that this is a very cool way to analyze case law, because we were focused on the Canadian litigation space. But we also got demand for the ability for clients to be able to build their own solutions in workflow and analytics using their own data and possibly mixing it with their personal data, with public data. And so over the last 3 years, the company has evolved from just doing litigation analytics to doing full-fledged enterprise workflow automation, but very focused on the legal and insurance ops space. We have a bunch of product suites that offer different products in different categories. In the legal ops space, we have the business suite that allows for employee contract management, new client intake, file management, and time management. They're standalone products, and clients are able to choose any one of these products and deploy it internally into their enterprise. I will go over a couple of the products here today. On the contract suite, we've got contract assembly and e-sign, contract analysis, and CLM. In the litigation suite, we've got litigation assessment, court analytics, and litigation document assembly. So I will focus on the new client intake and the contract analysis products today. I have taken screenshots from the product itself to give you an idea of what the system's capable of doing. I'm happy to have one-on-one discussions or possibly talk more about it during the breakout rooms or answer questions. So in the new client intake process, traditionally law firms do it manually. A lawyer has a call with a client, might ask a few questions over the phone, does a conflict check, then the admin follows up with the client to get a bit more information, to do a manual retainer agreement, and then accounting follows up with the client when it's time to pay. And it's a pain point that a lot of large and small firms have. And so we looked at that process and really tried to streamline it so that it goes from a new client intake form, along with checking the conflicts, to the client. If the conflicts are clear, the client's info is requested directly from the client instead of doing it back and forth over phone. The client is able to upload their ID right there to verify ID, and the retainer is automatically created and sent for signature. So everything is done in one flow. The client has a seamless experience, and there is no back and forth and missing information, possibly missing ID, and all of that stuff. And what happens is really, it ends up in a structured data format so that you can use it for different parts of the system. So when the data is collected, it can then be sent over to the accounting department or accounting systems, or into the matter management system, whatever else is needed along the way. I'll delve more into this later on, but essentially what we have is the ability to take different blocks of our system and connect them together to build solutions. So we've got the data entry forms, document automation, electronic signature, and notification stitched together to really do all 5 steps. We then connect them using a workflow process. And what that does is, while we have these off-the-shelf products, if clients have customized flows that they say, well, we have an intake process, but our conflict check is a separate team that will have a separate form, it's very easy to modify it. So what we would do is we would create an additional data entry form, add that to the workflow and stitch it together so that at an enterprise level, when this product is purchased, it can be customized to meet the client specific requirements. Another one that can be done with the similar blocks is the contract assembly, right? You can take a contract, turn it into a template using our document automation, and using our Word plugin or our browser builder, you can actually turn it all into a full functional content document generation and e-signature flow. Very similar to the intake and retainer, you can do it for any contract. Contract analysis is another product we have. where you can actually go in, upload your contracts, and return simple clause classification. This can be done either using an off-the-shelf classifier integration, and there's at least a couple in the market now that have come on very recently. There's Zuva, and there is another player in the market as well. So if you wanted to, we could do an integration in the back end to do the clause classification automatically, or for clients that wish to take their own documents and build their own clause classifier, they're able to do that on the platform as well. Same thing, you go in, so you create the blocks, you connect them using a workflow. So the conditional workflow triggers every step of it. In addition to the legal space, we've got insurance product suites as well that are aimed at those specific sectors. So we have two business models. We have the ability for clients to buy off-the-shelf products from us. So we have the legal operations suite and the insurance operations suites, but we also provide clients with the ability to either configure any one of those products or build their own from scratch. So we have a platform called Structura. It's a no-code workflow automation platform where clients are actually able to build their own solutions from scratch. So if you feel like none of our products meets your requirements, or you perhaps need 1, 2, or 3 of these products connected together to build a solution for your enterprise, then you would do that using Structura, where we would give you the products you need, and then they would be connected using Structura as the fabric. All of our products are built on the Structura platform. That's our no-code automation platform. So they all do talk to each other as long as they're sitting on the same enterprise. A few other use cases that you can build using it are AI-assisted expert systems. One of the things AI-assisted expert systems, possibly even doing data analytics, right? If you have multiple third-party systems, you're trying to move data between them, or you're trying to analyze the data at an aggregate level, you're able to do that using Structura's reporting system. We do connect with multiple third parties. For e-signature, we are integrated with Adobe, and we do have access to work with DocuSign as well. For document and contract analysis, for document analysis and form analysis, we are integrated with another third-party player called SourceBook. So not everything on the platform is done by blocks that sit inside Structura. Quite a few of our AI blocks are third-party integrations. We do have an integration with Adobe for Adobe PDF Extract, with AWS for a few of their AI services as well. So essentially what happens is we've got a few blocks that are our own, right? We allow clients to bring in their data using spreadsheets or data entry forms, or uploading their documents directly. They can build predictive models. So when they're building their predictive models, we're actually integrating with third-party industry-specific modules that provide predictive models for a specific use case. We have the ability for clients to be able to then build triggers and workflows on it using the rules engine that's built in, task management, email monitoring. And here, the form extraction, document extraction, and electronic signature, these 3 blocks are third-party integrations. So as clients want additional features that are not native to the platform, because the platform is designed to be almost like a data fabric inside an enterprise, we are able to do third-party integrations if needed. That's about it from my end. I can show you very briefly the back end of the system where this is where.
Mona, we're probably out of time unless.
That's fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So thank you for that. It's amazing how much you're able to do with Loom and Structura these days. It has come a very, very far way from the good old days back in the Liz. So congratulations on that. I don't think you beat the everyone is going to die contest, but nonetheless, your product was very impressive. So thanks for that. Again, if people have more questions or want to see more from Mona, she will definitely be available after our next presentation in the Loom Analytics breakout room. So thank you for that. Up last but not least is Rob and David from Notary Pro. They are one of the newer teams that have entered the legal innovation zone and are doing a fantastic job of making, frankly, access to justice more accessible to everyone right across the country. So really excited for this one. Rob, I think you are taking it away.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen here. And first of all, I'd like to apologize. If I look really tired, it's because I have 4 kids, 6 and under, and I am really tired. And I have a light here that's supposed to illuminate my face to look me a little more awake. But no, great to be with you all. I'm just going to share our website. But first of all, so I'm Robert Onley. I'm the founder of Notary Pro. I'm a lawyer and a notary. I live out in Whitby. With me is my partner, David Barter. He's our chief marketing officer, as well as our notary team manager, Jacqueline, who will be playing the role of Jane McTest on our demo here today for our remote online notary service. So before I jump into the demo, I just wanted to quickly give you kind of an overview of Notary Pro. So we are a 6-year-old company. I started off the side of my desk while I was in private practice as a litigator. I quickly realized that the average Canadian does not know what a notary is, what they can do, what they can't do, how much it should cost, how to book them, and really what they should be getting out of the process. So I set up a little website and put my phone number on it. And the long story short is my phone number has never stopped ringing since then. So we now are a national network of notaries. We have over 160 locations across Canada, which means 160 lawyers that I negotiated a contract with. So so far so good, but that's definitely no small feat when everyone wants to change the contract. So quick snapshot of our website and what we do. So we allow you to quickly and easily find a notary. That's first and foremost. And I'd love to just quickly show this here. We've worked really hard on this function. You can quickly search by your address, your postal code, your city, your province, what have you. And we'll show you as many Notary Pro locations as we have that are open. You can filter on the basis of a day. So you could say, hey, I want someone that's open tomorrow, and it will show only the locations that are open tomorrow. We've just deployed a bunch of filters. We're going to make it easy to find someone that speaks your language, that has parking, has wheelchair accessibility, and then eventually we're going to be deploying additional services that you can filter by. On the Notary Pro website, you can also browse our legal templates database. There are a bunch of documents that we can help you create instantly and for free, including various affidavits, statutory declarations, travel consent letters. Basically, the most commonly notarized documents. We'll create them for you quickly and easily. Beyond that, and what we're most proud of and what we are the most focused on is our remote online notary service. So this allows you to meet with a notary via online video, just like we're doing right now, upload your document, have it e-signed, and then digitally notarized or commissioned within a few minutes. And we offer basically same hour service. You can book an appointment and be on your way with your digitally notarized document in your inbox within 15 minutes, sometimes half an hour. So with that, and I can talk a little bit more about that, but I'd love to just show you. Joining me now is Jacqueline playing Jane, and we're going to digitally notarize her document. So hopefully we've got the audio correct here. So Jacqueline, I think, yeah, your mic is unmuted on Zoom, so that's perfect. So Jane, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Perfect. Great to meet with you. Just before we get started in electronically signing your document, I'm going to check your identity. So you've uploaded your ID here to our form, and I'm just going to confirm a few details. Can you confirm your date of birth?
July 1st, 1990.
Close enough, Jane. Thank you. And what is your address in Toronto?
123 Fake Street.
Perfect. Thanks, Jane. So we have right now a simple ID verification process. We're going to be deploying a knowledge-based authentication integration in the coming months, which we're really excited about as we look to enter the US market. The recipient has any questions? Thanks, Hirsch. So this text can be modified. We can customize it. We can put anything we want. In this case here, I'm adding a digital notary seal. We have, of course, a bunch of different notaries that work for us, so they use this platform. This seal can be customized, and we're looking at a bunch of different sort of technology components that would be added into this function. But for now, it's a simple digital seal. Jane, have you been able to add your signature there?
I have.
Perfect. So once you've done that, you're going to go to the top right corner. You're going to click done in the green button.
Okay.
Excellent. And then we're going to go back to the documents here, and we're going to just do a final error check just to make sure there's no issues with it. And so what this allows us to do is we can quickly review the document before the client meeting ends. We can make changes to it if we have to. We can re-upload the document. We can add in additional documents if the client has forgotten it, all of which is contained within the same instance or the same appointment. And then once we're done, we can then have the completed document sent back to the client instantly via email. The completed document contains an additional page called the document history that shows the log of all the edits and additions and signatures that were made to the document that are proof that it was electronically signed and digitally notarized through Notary Pro. And we, of course, we stand behind all of our completed documents. So that's the quick demo. That's our platform. We're really thrilled. You know, the volume continues to grow each month, and we're really excited about a bunch of partnerships that are in the works currently. And then just really quickly before we go here, I'm going to quickly share my other screen. How am I on time there, Hirsch? I've lost track. Good. Okay. Make sure I got this right. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we're also in the middle of our raise. So we've been pitching to VCs and investors over the last couple of months. And we're really excited about that. We're getting some good traction. We have a bit of a friends and family network that's looking to invest as well. And so what we are right now, we are a small Canadian startup. We are 6 employees. We did over 1.2 million in revenue last year. We're really looking forward to additional growth this year. We realize and recognize that the notary market is huge. There's a huge opportunity globally. Current best estimates are only about 1% of all document notarizations are done digitally currently. So we know that there's an opportunity to really tap into this. So these figures here on this slide in terms of a $30 billion market size come from notarize.com, which is one of the big American remote online notary players. So we're really excited to be tapping into this market. And of course, in Canada, the regulations that allow this are quite new. They've only been in existence for about 18 months. And there's additional regulations that are forthcoming. So we're excited about that. We're currently raising $1 million US. That's our goal. And we are looking to launch our instant legal documents app, which is under development. We want to build up what we call a product dev army and basically deploy them and focus them on our app development. And then, of course, because David's on the call here, I have to mention we want to boost our sales and marketing, expand our marketing team, and we're in the process of already attacking the B2B market, which we're really excited about. And then I can't forget Jacqueline, who is also on this call, our notary community manager. We will need more Jacqueline's, more amazing people to manage our network of notaries. We have 160 notaries active currently. There's about 25 that are in the pipeline, and we're getting applications from both Canada and the US from notaries basically every single day who want to join the Notary Pro network. And just to kind of recap, and I'll try to wrap up here, is what we've built is a national legal community of lawyers and paralegals, and then combine that with technology to make it really easy to find them. Where we are marrying the two is through this remote online notary service, which of course we intend at some point to sell back to the network and to offer to our team. The reality is, because of the issue of identity fraud, there are more and more documents that require notarization every year, it seems. The government loves to create these forms, but they don't notarize them for you. Law firms typically don't offer notarization or publicly offer it, particularly the medium and larger size firms. And what that has left is a gap in the market that Notary Pro is filling and trying to fill. The last point is that the remote online notary service, we believe it's here to stay. There's no going back. There's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Now that you can do stuff via Zoom and via e-signatures, people are going to want to continue to do that and to do more of it in different platforms, including in British Columbia, where you can now digitally sign your will. So we're really excited to be in the mix within the Canadian legal tech startup space. Quick highlights on our remote online notary app. Operates at a very high margin. It's a great platform. Am I out of time, Hirsch? Okay. We'd love to share more and happy to chat with anyone on the call here in the breakout. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I originally gave you the thumbs up. You had a bunch of time, but yeah, we're now
awesome.
At the end, and I want to make sure that we can get into the breakout rooms with some time. So I'm going to thank everyone for participating. Rob, thank you very much. There was a comment that when you were talking about the notaries that you said close enough, which for a lawyer, that was a close second, but I think Everyone Is Going to Die still won the award for the soundbite of the demo lunch. So congratulations, Aaron. I will send out the prize shortly. Anyways, I think on behalf of Chris and I want to thank everyone again for coming out to the demo lunch. We will now open up the rooms, and you can just self-select which room you want to jump into, and all the founders will be in there happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much for coming out, and we look forward to seeing you shortly. Stay well and stay safe. I will open those rooms.